In the next few minutes, I'm going to give you a tour of the LeadCapture platform. Now, before we dive into it, I'm going to make a fun little irresistible bribe. If you stay until the end of this video, if you watch the whole thing, I'm going to award you with 500 free credits that you can use towards lead verification, lead enrichment, AI generation, AI intelligence, and more. There's a lot to unpack within this video, and I'm going to break this video into 3 core sections. Section number 1, the high-level overview. We're going to take a bird's eye view of the LeadCapture platform to help orient you. Section number 2 is going to be the deep dive. We're going to dive in and create a lead funnel together, and we'll be using some AI to help speed things up. And then section number 3 will be how to use AI intelligence to get insights to help you optimize your lead funnels to get even more leads. Okay, section 1, high level. So when you come into LeadCapture, this is what you're going to see. This chart is aggregating all of your lead metrics across all of your funnels. So think of this as your high-level overview of how things are performing. You can look right down to the day, the week, the month. Soon we will even have some comparison charts in here. You can search by funnel, and then you can scan down your list and see these nice spike charts, the number of leads, conversion rates. So this gives you the bird's eye view into how things are performing. You can even sort things into folders. Now, if you want deeper insights, and if you want to get them fast, you can open up the AI intelligence feature, which is in the bottom right-hand corner. Just open that, start chatting with the AI. We're going to talk about this in section 3 of the video when we get into optimization. We'll get to that in a moment. But let's continue with this tour. So now you're looking at the high-level overview. But let's say you want to drill into a specific funnel to see how that's performing. Maybe you want to understand the trends for a funnel or what the drop-off rate for a funnel looks like. Well, in this case, we'll just click into this debt relief assessment funnel. And now you're getting the same view up here, except this is just for this specific lead funnel. And we are also now showing you the conversion rate. So you can come in and begin to ask yourself, well, how does this change that I made impact the conversion rate trend? This is a really interesting insight that you can come in and check. And again, the AI can also analyze this for you. Now, if we scroll down a little bit, you will also see some high-level metrics, like number of views. So these are the people who have seen the lead funnel, the number of leads you've captured, the conversion rate, and then one of my favorite features, the funnel drop-off rate. So you can see every single step, how many people saw it, and the conversion rate. Then if we go down a little bit more, you will also see some of the leads that have come in. Now, don't worry, I'm not exposing PII. None of this information is real. This is a demo account with fake dummy data. Before we dive into the actual lead funnel, before I show you what that looks like, let's take a look at these fields and show you what some of this means. So one of the things that we're really hyper-focused on over at LeadCapture, aside from making things easier with AI, is giving you data at the point of capture to help you maximize your lead quality. And when we talk about lead quality, there's a whole lot to unpack there because there's a lot of different factors to what makes a qualified lead. For example, did the lead provide consent? Did the lead provide you with a legitimate phone number? Are they coming in from an area that you can even accept? So there's many factors, and we're trying to arm you with data, or at least give you the tools, and you choose whether or not you use these tools to help you improve the quality of your leads. Because getting really high conversion rates is one thing, but if all those leads are not so great, then that doesn't really serve much purpose for you, your sales team, your clients, your lead buyers, whoever it is you're sending leads to. So we also understand that lead quality is just as critical as conversion rates. So just looking at the tables here, you have the name of the lead, the phone number, whether or not it is a verified phone number, and we'll walk through that in a moment. The email address, whether or not the email is verified. The IP address, this is really helpful to help identify spam, which you can then block. Contact score, I'll walk through that in a moment. And then a number of additional fields. But if we drill into a specific contact record, one thing to note is this is not meant to be a CRM, but it is meant to provide you with some intelligence around the lead, and all this information can be passed into your CRM or into your lead distribution tool. So you'll see all their responses from the quiz that they completed, their contact info, their user agent landing page, all the key stuff that you would want. If you're posting leads into different systems, all of the logs will show up here. If you look towards the right here, we have this contact score feature. So this is a feature that's very unique to LeadCapture. In this box, what we're essentially doing is at the point of capture, we are enriching the lead and giving you some additional information about the phone number. And you can either pass this information into your CRM and lead distribution tool, or you can block a lead if they do not meet a specific rule that you set within LeadCapture. So let's take a look at some of the data that you get right here. You get a contact score. This score is on a scale of 0 to 100. and it indicates how likely somebody is to pick up the phone. For example, if they are between 0 to 30, that could indicate that the phone number has low activity. It could be a disconnected or inactive line. Then, taking a look at some of the additional data points, we have whether or not the phone is valid or not. You could outright block the invalid phone numbers right at the point of capture, the carrier, whether or not it's prepaid, another good thing to block on. Whether or not it's a TCPA litigator risk. So if the phone number is associated with TCPA lawsuits, you probably do not want to let that lead through, and even the line type. We also have OTP phone verification. Everything in contact score is happening in field. The OTP is more of like two-factor. And then there's some additional context below. Now I want to dive into an actual funnel and walk through that and show you what our funnel system looks like. Let's go into this final expense one here. So in this case, I'm just creating it from a template. So this is the lead funnel builder. The way that we're thinking about lead funnels and lead quizzes is that rather than having a landing page in one platform and a form in another platform, we have a unified funnel builder. And both the landing page and the form or quiz are all created in the same flow for an extremely fast loading mobile first lead funnel that looks something like this. Now again, all of this can be customized. This is just the flow that we designed around that we have seen works extremely well. Within LeadCapture, you can build this unified system where it's the landing page and the quiz together, or you can set it up like this and just take this quiz and embed it somewhere else if you have another place where you are embedding your lead forms and quizzes. So you can still do both, but by default, we give you the option to build out a full-blown page and connect your own domain to it. Now to the left-hand side, there's all the building blocks that you can just drag right into the page to edit. This is the form area. And then you can come in here and adjust the form. We'll dive into all this in section 2. To the right-hand side, you'll see the steps. And then the AI Copilot allows you to edit and change on the fly. And then just going across the top, we have a section where you can add advanced conditional logic. There's a settings section, and this is where you can add things like trusted form, all your enrichment and verification features, partial lead recovery, back button you can turn on, the meta CAPI integration. And in lead delivery, this is where you can configure a webhook or Zapier, so you can pretty much post leads anywhere. You can set up email alerts, so you can receive leads via email. And you can also hook up a number of CRM and lead distribution tool integrations. And in publish, this is where you can connect your own custom domain. So you can either hook up your funnel to your root domain or a subdomain. You can embed it on your own page. And you can even set up some SEO metadata so you can potentially get the page to rank if you're also looking to get some SEO benefit from it as well. Now let's move on to section 2 and let's build our first lead funnel together. So when it comes to building a lead funnel, you can click on New Funnel and you have 3 choices. You can start from scratch. This will probably take you the longest. You could build with the AI Copilot. This is going to be the quickest way to get set up. Or you can start with a template. Let's use our AI Copilot so you can see how AI can help us build an entire lead funnel from start to finish. Click on AI Copilot. Now, when you click on AI Copilot, you have 2 choices. You can build just the lead form quiz, or you can build the unified funnel where it's the landing page with the form. I'm going to click on landing page plus form because I want the whole funnel built out. And then you have a choice for page layout. You can go single column, right column, or left column. I would suggest either single column or right column. In this case, I'm going to go with single column because we see this is what works best, especially for mobile. Next, there's some templates here. You can click on one of these templates to get started. Now, this is really key. The output that you get from the AI is going to only be as good as the prompt that you give it. You're never going to get a crazy looking output. But if you get an output that isn't on brand or doesn't use your colors or doesn't have the right questions, then that's probably because you didn't include that information in the prompt. So things you want to include in the prompt are your color scheme, the name of the brand, and some of the steps that you want, and some of the questions you want in your steps. But to keep things simple, I'm going to build a lead gen funnel for a company called Tap My Mortgage in the mortgage space. So we want to use brand colors. We're going to say green and white throughout. The form should qualify leads by asking, let's go with 5 to 10 key questions about their needs, collect email, phone number. We want the headline compelling and benefit focused. And questions that we want to include. Let's get more specific here. So we're going to build a lead gen funnel for a company called Tap My Mortgage in the mortgage space to generate refi leads. So questions that we want to include are mortgage balance, property type, Well, no, first we need the home address, property type, and then mortgage balance, military status. I'm not going to overthink this just because I want to keep this moving. And then contact info. And then industry, mortgage. If we don't have your industry, don't worry about it. This won't mess anything up. We're going to be adding a lot more to this as far as prompts and industries in the near future. And then I'm just going to click build with AI. And you'll see now the AI is starting to go through a process. First, it's analyzing the request. Then it's designing the page layout based on our templating system. It's generating the headline, all the sections, building the steps, creating the funnel. This process can take anywhere from 15 to 30 seconds, sometimes a minute or more. And you can even leave this page and it will run in the background and you can come back to it later. I'll pause and come back as soon as it's done. Now here is the first output from the AI. The goal is to get 60 to 70% there. So I would say this got us about 70% there. I think it's looking pretty good. If we take a look at the page here, lower your mortgage payment, see if you qualify in under 2 minutes. Not bad out of the gate. Thousands of homeowners are saving hundreds per month by refinancing. Answer a few quick questions and get matched with today's best rates. No obligation, no credit check. Now, my favorite part about the AI, aside from the fact that it does the whole thing for you, is that it's pretty good with the copy here. I personally would not come up with copy this good out of the box, especially when you consider everything that goes into setting up a landing page in the funnel. And I also like how it's highlighting no credit check here. It takes less than 2 minutes. It already knows those key things that you want to note before somebody actually begins to engage with the funnel. Now, things like color, branding, that's something I would play with an A/B test. Like maybe I would want to make this whole background maybe green, or even try with a 2-column layout. Although on mobile would still collapse to a single column. So I'm just going to stick with single column. And then I think it did a good job with some of the content. Here's where we would put in some graphics, why homeowners choose to have my mortgage, the amount they could save. And then I like how it added in the button to anchor it back up to the top. Pretty cool to see that. I didn't even prompt it to do that. Here is where you would add in your logo. We do not AI generate images yet. That's for the future. So you would still have to add in your logo. You could keep it like this, but I would probably add in a nice brand logo. Now, before we actually go in and start adjusting things and setting this up, let's just take a look at some of the questions here that it gave us. So property address, and this is where we would either want to use our property enrichment feature, or we would want to use the Google address autocomplete feature. Property type. So it did a good job here. It missed some of these graphics. This is where Copilot can save a ton of time. Instead of having to click into each button, I'm just going to come in here and say, remove the icons on the what type of property is this step options. I may not have been clear enough. And it worked. You'll see that it removed the icon. So I'm just going to save that. So that saved me a few minutes here. The way we built the AI is it hooks into everything. So whenever we build a feature, we have schema that we map to the AI so it knows what sections to change so you can prompt it. Now, it doesn't change everything yet. For example, right now, it can't set up a webhook for you, although that's coming. But we're always trying to think of how do we make the platform more intelligent so that way you can save time building this out. There's plenty more things you can do with the AI. We'll get to that in a moment here. This is what I'm probably most excited about. There's property use, how to use the property, mortgage balance. So we have a slider field it used. So it knew to use the slider field, home value. Now these two fields here, if I enrich with property info, which I'll show you, I technically don't need them, but I'm going to keep them for now. Current rate, again, it knows to use the slider fields. Contact info, processing. So this is another feature I love, and this is highly requested, the ability to add in these transition steps. You can even set the duration here. I'm going to set it to like 3 seconds, but what I like to do is put it here before the contact step. And then you can adjust this copy. I'm going to leave it like this. And you basically just say, oh, we're analyzing your results. Kind of tease them a bit, then show the contact step, then thank you step. Let's see what we have here so far. Now, if you wanted to change the headline, you could come in and change this. One feature that we have outside of changing this with the Copilot is our conversion copywriter assistant. You click on this little sparkle right here, and you can actually find it for each field. And then you can either prompt it. You could say something like, think like Russell Brunson or Dan Kennedy and create a high converting headline. I should actually try that. I haven't tried it. Or just have it generate some ideas. And we'll click generate ideas. Let's see what it gives us. Now the AI Copilot can do this as well. We give you multiple choices. Reduce your mortgage payment, find out if you're eligible now. I think that's better than the previous headline, which I actually forget now. So right there is a really good example of where you would use that. Another example here, there's so much opportunity to optimize the copy within a step heading. And you can just click on one of these little sparkles and it will do that for you, or even CTAs, or you could just have the Copilot do it. So this is where that can help you not only save time when it comes to copywriting, but also get highly optimized copy right out of the box. Now let's dig into the builder a little bit more here. So within the builder, there's two components. There's the page section. So this headline is part of the page. This is part of the page. Then you have the quiz section. This is its own thing, and it has its own set of fields. And then again, there's the page section. Here you have the header section. Here you have the footer section with all of the links that you would want to have for privacy policy terms. Let's start with the page section. Let's say you want to modify the page. Maybe you want to add a video above the quiz. This is something that I have tested that works extremely well. Put a nice UGC style video that's vertical right above the quiz. Drop that in, and then you can just paste a YouTube link in for now. Let's say you want an image. Drag the image in, and then you can upload an image. And then just scanning down the list here, there's the 2-column layout approach. Maybe you want testimonials here. You can add in testimonials, and you can even add multiple columns. Now let's take a look here at the lead quiz, because within the quiz itself, there's so much that you can do. First, there's tons of different fields. So if we just click here into the quiz and go to fields, let's take a look at some of the fields. So you have a text field, an email field, a phone field, a number field, drop down, buttons, checkbox. If you're looking for consent, like TCPA consent, don't use checkbox. We have another section for that. You will find that down here in consent. Then we have TCPA, single consent template, CCPA, GDPR, and then you can webhook or send this into wherever it needs to go. And when you capture the lead, we're capturing that consent with the lead. That's really key for lead gen. Going back to the fields, we have property enrichment, zip code, postal code, country, UTM. So if you need to capture UTMs, you would just drop that in. It's a hidden field. If we click on state, go to type settings. Whenever you need to modify a field, like the settings within the field, go to type settings. For example, if we click on address, you're going to see type settings. And then this is where there's some of the advanced options, and there's validation above it. State, type settings. You can choose your country. We have some countries with their default states. So let's go with US, and you can choose either full name or abbreviate it. Sometimes this matters with the system you're posting into, so keep that in mind. You may need to change this someday, depending on where you're sending your leads. Now, since this is a funnel in the mortgage space, we can get a little bit fun here. And let's turn this into a address autocomplete field to start. Then we're going to show a picture of the property. So go to settings. We're going to go all the way down and turn on address autocomplete. And you're actually going to need to get this set up. So I can show you real quick how to get this set up. Go to settings. There's some account level integrations. And you're going to need to paste in your Google Places API key. Click this link and that will walk you through the instructions on how to get that. Okay, you'll see that I configured my key. Now I'm going to go back to my funnel here. Settings. And then I have to find the address autocomplete. While I'm at it, I'm also going to make sure the back button's enabled. It is. And I'm going to enable this. Choose a default of 30-mile radius, restrict to the United States. And then if we go back into the funnel, let's click on the field here because we're going to want to add a setting to show a visual above the field dynamically. We're going to pull in the property image. We're going to include a street view image here, which is going to pull in from Google. And we're going to show in the form. So we're going to show in the form above the fields. And I'm just going to keep it medium. Save. Now let's just preview this real quick. So here's what happens. Let's go with another one that I just looked up. 737 Bar Boulevard. There we go. So you can't quite see because there's tree blocking, but now we pulled up a legitimate house. And then if we click continue, there's the TCPA stuff. We can actually continue with that property there, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to remove that for now, but just wanted to show you what you can do and what could be relevant to do. We can also, you could technically, instead of having it in the form, you can go to the page and pull this in here and maybe put it right below the quiz. And it's dynamic, so it will not show up until somebody actually enters in their property address. I'll just delete it, save. Now let's touch on one of the common questions that I know will come up, and it's, can I add conditional logic to the funnel, and how do I do that? Well, the quick answer is yes, you can add conditional logic. So there's a couple of scenarios for conditional logic. The first is something real basic. For example, let's take property type. Let's say you do not want to take properties that are condos, multifamily, and manufactured. So you can click here on the options list, and then you can choose where you want to route leads. So what I would probably do is go here, create a contact step or a thank you step, but I wouldn't call it thank you, I would call it DQ. And then in the fields area, I would remove the success icon. This is obviously something that I would probably improve upon as far as copy goes. But to keep things simple, let's just keep moving. Come in here and then set, let's say, condo to the DQ step, and then manufactured to the DQ step, multifamily to DQ. And now you'll see this little routing icon. So now anytime someone chooses one of these options, they go straight to DQ. And we're going to also flip on don't post lead. So this way it doesn't route into any system. So now there's some basic logic set. And if we go into the flow section here, you will see the logic. So here's that property type step. There's the routes. You can even click here to add a rule. So that's the first scenario, and that's the more basic scenario. But let's say you have a more advanced scenario where maybe somebody enters a value into a field, and you need to route them based on the value that they enter in. For example, imagine credit score was an open-ended field. This is where you can go into the flow logic section, and you can click on add rule, and then you can choose your step, and then you can say if it contains a value or if it contains a specific value, then route to another step. Now, as you saw, I just did all of that manually. You could go into Copilot, and let's set up a route for credit score. I'm going to say in the credit score step, if someone has a credit score that's below 600, route them to DQ. And let's see if it sets up that route for us. So it said done. So now if somebody clicks on credit score, it should route to DQ. So let's actually test that just to make sure that's working. We could look in funnel logic, but I actually want to test this live. Now, one of the nice things about LeadCapture is to adjust the order of the steps, simply just drag them around. If I adjust credit score all the way at the top, it's now going to lead with credit score. So this is now going to be the first step. So it's at the top. Here's the credit score step. So if I click on 740 plus, you'll see it takes me to the home address step. But if I click on below 660, it just took me to the DQ step. That's exactly what we wanted, and AI Copilot was able to do it for us, which I think is amazing and could save a lot of time when it comes to setting up conditional routing. And then if we come back up here, here's the credit score, there's the route that we set, all set up by AI. No, obviously I would go and really comb through the questions and make sure I'm asking the right questions. But there's a couple of things that I want to do. I want to show you some integration in the enrichment side. Before I do that, let's just test this and actually step through the funnel so you can see what this looks like real quick. Now, if we preview it, home address. So as you'll see, it's very fast. And this is what that analyzing section looks like. And I'm not going to submit because I'll do the submission in a moment. I want to show you some things you can do on the enrichment side. So at this point, just imagine everything is set up. You're happy with the way it looks. Next thing you probably want to do is make sure you're getting highly qualified leads. This is more like all the stuff here on the funnel side, the copy, the funnel steps, the way you're organizing and structuring things, the social proof. All of this is about conversion. But there's also the lead quality component as well. So this is where you would come into settings. Out of the box, I would recommend enabling trusted form. Some other features that you may want to consider: email verification. And then here you can choose between OTP phone verification or phone verification and enrichment. This is that contact score that I showed you. I would definitely use this. And here you have a choice. Do you want to use enrichment only or some validation with enrichment? I'm going to choose some validation with enrichment, and I'm only going to allow mobile. I'm going to block unknowns, and I'll let the rest do. I'm also going to block prepaid phone numbers and block TCPA litigator risk. So this should technically block these types of phones that are flagged for these issues from getting through at all. And I'm also going to block all phone numbers that are below a score of 30. So these could be invalid lines, these could be bots. I don't want them getting through, so I'm going to block them. At the same time, I'm going to get all this information captured with the lead. Now, since I'm building a refi funnel, in addition to that, I'm also going to switch from the Google Address Autocomplete step to property enrichment. And this is going to allow me to enrich the leads with dozens of data points and skip tracing. So we'll turn all that on. We have back button. I would also be turning on the Meta Pixel and Cappy if I'm driving traffic from Meta, but I'm not going to do that right now. That'll be an integration guide that we cover later. And let's actually begin the enrichment. So there's the property that we just entered. What type of property is it? I'm actually going to post this lead. So most of these questions I do not need because we're enriching the lead, but just imagine that you're not enriching the lead. Maybe you're building a different type of lead funnel. I just want to give you a sense of what this whole thing looks like. And you'll see it just verified the email address. And now it's going to also check the phone number. So it captured this phone number and it will not accept the phone number. So what I have to do is go back and adjust the settings because I want this phone number to get through. And then I'm going to post the lead. Just to speed things up, I use my personal phone number. So the lead was posted. Here's the thank you step. Let's go take a look at the lead now. So I'll just go to the lead section. Now here is some of the information that we captured. You'll see the contact score. My phone number is scored at a 60, so moderate activity, which sounds about right. And then you'll see that it's clear from TCPA consent litigation. There's that trusted form cert that we captured. There's the consent text being captured. That house was pulled in. And then here's all the data enrichment. So if you remember, we had added the property enrichment feature. And this is just an example of some of the things we can do on the enrichment side. We were able to pull all of this information in without having to ask all these additional questions. Everything from property details to does it have a basement or not, a pool or not, type of heating, financial data, estimated market value, the last sale, equity information, even skip trace information. So all this information was pulled in and can, again, be routed to wherever you need it to go. Now, speaking of routing, let's touch on that. So going into the lead, as you're getting this set up, one of the things you do before publish is obviously to set up your lead routing. So go to lead delivery and you have a few different choices. You can configure a webhook, add Zapier, email notifications, or connect with one of the integrations and CRMs down here, which we plan to continue expanding upon. Let's say you wanted to add a webhook. I'm not going to walk through the webhook setup right now, but you click add webhook, add your webhook post URL right here, name it, choose your payload formatting. And then as far as publishing it goes, this exact link that you see in preview will work. It's a live link. Now, you could also add your own custom domain. And then if you were to do that, you would just choose your domain from the dropdown. If you have a landing page or website that you're embedding this into, just grab this code and paste it right in. That's all you should have to do. And down here, you'll see you can add in some custom code. You can set up your page metadata, even update some additional social information down here. Okay, that is everything at a high level. Let's move on to section number 3, which should be pretty quick. This is going to be around optimizing your lead funnel. So at this point, let's say that you have your lead funnel live. It's been running for a few days and you're getting some leads. Now there's a few things you can do. First, you can come in here and take the Insights tab. Now with Insights, our AI is scanning your account. It's looking across all your funnels and it's surfacing up insights that will help you optimize your funnels to get even more leads. These are what we call proactive AI-driven insights. You're getting everything on either a weekly or a daily basis. So you'll see that there's some critical insights, like things that the AI thinks you need to urgently address. There's some warnings and some opportunities. For example, 38% drop in your health status step. So it's not only looking at the specific funnel, in this case, final expense insurance quote funnel, but it's also looking at the step within it to determine where there's a drop off. So then you can click here, view suggested fix, go in and actually make the adjustment that you need to make. And hopefully from that adjustment, increase your conversion rates, and then that should bring down your cost per lead as well. So that's the first thing you can do when it comes to optimizing your lead funnel. The next thing you can do is you can go into our AI intelligence feature, click on that little chat button, and you can do two things. You can either have a back and forth conversation with the AI about best practices, like how many steps should I include in a quiz funnel or in a lead form? Or you could even have it analyze your account for you or specific funnels. For example, we can say, how many leads did I get this week? And what were my top funnels? And it's going to now comb through your account and it's going to surface up these insights for you. So it's saying, based on your account data, you've generated 61 leads this week in the last 7 days from 1,079 views, giving you about a 5.7% conversion rate. Your top 3 performing funnels this week are, it's listing the funnels, it's listing the results. So this is a really good insight. And then you could then have a conversation with it around, well, where could you optimize more? Another thing you could do is draw it into a funnel. And you could say something like, in this funnel, and it's going to know that we're referring to the free roofing estimate funnel, where's there the biggest drop off? Now, I'm not going to ask this question because in the demo account, you'll see there's no data in the funnel metrics, but you could come in here and ask it questions. You can also access the intelligence right from the funnel builder. If we come into the AI Copilot, here's the Copilot that you're using to edit, but there's also the intelligence tab right here. So that wraps up this tour and onboarding video for the LeadCapture platform. If you stuck around with me up to this point, thank you so much. The system will automatically award you with 500 free credits. If you do not receive those credits, reach out to support@leadcapture.io and we'll get them added to your account. And in the meantime, if any questions come up or if you need help with anything, please reach out and let us know. Thank you.